anyway, welcome everybody who's come, and thank you for coming. And let's just get settled into our meditation posture. And so, of course, the advice from Venerable Rabina, as always around this time of year, is to basically zip your lip when it comes to going to Thanksgiving. It sounds like such a torture. I don't know why in America everyone keeps going back time and time again. I don't know what it is. If it's really, that painful, why do you keep doing it?
It's really difficult to put on an idea of putting on a big dinner when you hear about people in Palestine eating leaves and grass.
I know. I mean, and then you'll be throwing food out because, that's just, I know. I mean, it's just, it's difficult. Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's super difficult. I know, I understand. But anyway, the advice from Venerable is be nice and don't be combative at the dinner table, and just agree with everything. You don't have to disagree. You just agree with everything that's being said. Make jokes, be sweet, and then everyone's going to have a lovely time. You don't have to agree with anything that even you're saying. Anyway, I still can't understand why everyone goes, yes, just eat your greens and keep smiling. That's right. Okay, let's settle into our meditation posture. And as we welcome this, we're in a month of gratitude, right? It's also the month where we would typically vote. And when I was studying for the citizenship exam, there was a little bit, they used to do these little stories and they sort of were talking about how, which I thought was fascinating. The reason it's in November is because it's the end of the harvest season and all the farmers are finished all their work, harvesting everything and bringing everything in, and then they're all free to come to vote. So I thought that was just kind of super interesting. For some reason, I just had this, it was a very sweet image. So then, of course, I guess the whole idea of harvesting means you're thankful for the food that you have, that the food that you've been able to harvest and that you're able to eat. And in a way, the gratitude that we have creates merit, which creates the cause for us to have more food to eat. And the life that we have, the ability that we have to get on Zoom and do these practices together, it's just really extraordinarily valuable. And in a way, COVID was, where it wasn't a blessing for many people, it has been a blessing in some respects. Certainly has been a blessing for me. So there are many things that we can be grateful for. So just, as we settle into our meditation, just think of some of them this evening. I think somebody is unmuted, so if you could all just check. No, I think everyone's good. Okay. So if you are sitting at your desk in front of your computer with your feet down, your legs down, have them about a hip's width apart, sitting on top of your sits bones, shoulders aligned with the hips, and imagine your spine is the string of pearls of light, stretching from the base all the way up through the crown of the head and beyond. Bring your awareness to the crown of the head and relax the scalp and the forehead, the nose, the cheeks, the mouth, back of the head, back of the neck. Let your shoulders drop down, relax the throat, the chest, and the belly, and all of your limbs. Notice the sensation of the air as you're inhaling and exhaling. Perhaps there's sounds in your environment, so just allow those sounds to be there, trying not to follow with the mind. And then notice the thoughts that are arising in the mind. So pay attention to whether they're different thoughts than the ones you had this time on last Friday night. Or if you're doing the practice over the weekend, the thoughts that have arisen during this practice yesterday or the day before. And if today's thoughts are maybe complicated or tricky or challenging, perhaps take your mind back a few days and see that maybe you had different thoughts. And also remember, this indicates that the thoughts can change. We are living in an impermanent world. Our mind is moving constantly. Our karma is changing constantly. Nothing is staying still. Try and put some space in between your thoughts. You can just, you can have it actually just have one category. I'm thinking. Bundle everything up into that little category. I'm thinking. And then perhaps you can put that little bundle on a white fluffy cloud and just allow it to float away. Then bring to mind some people of your life, the loved ones, the ones we don't like so much, and then those who are just strangers to us. Remembering they can change place at any time. They're also all equal in their wish to be happy and their wish to be free from suffering and having this extraordinary capacity for Buddhahood. So I think we'll do this meditation this evening for the benefit of all these people in our life. And thinking this week of all those turkeys that they're already past now and they're packaged up and they're sitting in the supermarket or your local store waiting to be picked up, or in Costco and taken home and cooked. So we dedicate for them as well. So remembering there is no negativity that cannot be purified. This purification process it's a psychological one. We create negativity with our mind so we can easily change it by creating positivity instead. We can just flip the script. So we start with the power of regret, sincerely regret from the depths of your heart anything you have done to harm any living being on this day, in this life, and in all of our past lives. And think of specific actions of both your body and your speech, and then in general regret all. And the reason to regret is based on this logic of karma. We experience everything due to our past karma, our past actions, and having harmed others, we ourselves will necessarily experience suffering in the future. We cannot bear the thought of any future suffering that we will experience. We know from our present suffering we don't want any more. So logically, it makes sense to remove the karmic seeds before they ripen as future suffering for us. So think like this: I regret from the depths of my heart having harmed others with my body and my speech, having broken my vows because I do not want the future suffering. I'm sick of suffering. And also regret any anger and attachment and the rest that are the cause of why we harm others, and think again, I'm sick of this suffering. And then think, what can I do about it? whom can I turn to? So here we come to the power of reliance, and we have our beautiful image of Vajrasattva. So imagine again, this is something similar to this image made of light, white light, above the crown of your head. You can imagine also, if you wish, that this is the mind of your teacher manifesting in this form for your benefit. And Vajrasattva, imagine sitting a couple of inches above the crown of your head and cross-legged on a white lotus and a moon cushion. He has a beautiful radiant face. His eyes are long and peaceful and full of love and compassion for you and all those people of your life. He has a sweet red mouth. His hair is black and held up in a top knot. His arms are crossed at his heart, the left underneath the right. The left is holding a bell representing wisdom, and the right is holding a vajra, which represents the indestructibility of compassion. And their being crossed represents the union of these two, and this symbolizes enlightenment itself, the development of infinite wisdom and infinite compassion. To the Buddha, the Dharma, and the Sangha, I go for refuge until I'm enlightened. By this practice of meditating on Guru Vajrasattva, may I reach Buddhahood so as to benefit all sentient beings. And here, again, also part of reliance is developing compassion. So in order to develop compassion, we need to rely upon other beings, and the very beings we have harmed and those who have harmed us, by developing compassion for them. So think particularly of someone you may have harmed recently and in the past, and then in general, all beings we've ever harmed since the beginning of this time. And then remember those who have harmed you and have compassion for them, because they will suffer as a result of the harm they've done to you. So make a strong aspiration to do this practice for the sake of all these beings. And we come to the power of the remedy, and this is the medicine, the actual practice, the purification. So we start with the body. Vajrasattva very compassionately sends powerful white nectar, like coming out of a hose, quite forcefully from his heart, and it arcs around and enters your crown and pours into your entire body, filling you completely, and it keeps pouring into you until it forces out of your lower orifices all the harm you've ever done to any living being with your body in the form of inky liquid. And this pours out of you and disappears into space, not one atom left, as we recite the mantra. Om Vajrasattva Samaya Manupalaya Vajrasattva Dina Patita Dida Meboa Sitokaya Meboa Sipokaya Meboa Anarakta Meboa Sawasidi Mimpiyatsa Sawakama Sitame Sitam Shriyam Kuruhum Ha 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 Ho Bhagavan Sawatata Gata Vajramami Mutsa Vajrabawa Mahasamaya Saka A Hompe Om Vajrasattva Samaya Manupalaya Vajrasattva Dina Patita Dida Meboa Sitokaya Meboa Sipokaya Meboa Anarakta Meboa Sawasidi Mimpiyatsa Sawakama Sitame Sitam Shriyam Kuruhum Ha 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 Ho Bhagavan Sawatata Gata Vajramami Mutsa Vajrabawa Mahasamaya Sata A Hompe and Vajrasattva Samaya Manupalaya Vajrasattva Dina Patita Dida Meboa Sitokaya Meboa Sipokaya Meboa Anarakta Meboa Sawasidi Mimpiyatsa Sawakama Sitame Sitam Shriyam Kuruhum Ha Ha Ho Bhagavan Sawatata Gata Vajramami Mutsa Vajrabawa Mahasamaya Sata A Hompe and Vajrasattva Samaya Manupalaya Vajrasattva Dina Patita Dida Meboa Sitokaya Meboa Sipokaya Meboa Anarakta Meboa Sawasidi Mimpiyatsa Sawakama Sitame Sitam Shriyam Kuruhum Ha Ha Ho Bhagavan Sawatata Gata Vajramami Mutsa Vajrabawa Mahasamaya Sata A Hompe and Vajrasattva Samaya Manupalaya Vajrasattva Dina Patita Dida Meboa Sitokaya Meboa Sipokaya Meboa Anarakta Meboa Sawasidi Mimpiyatsa Sawakama Sitame Sitam Shriyam Kuruhum Ha Ha Ho Bhagavan Sawatata Gata Vajramami Mutsa Vajrabawa Mahasamaya Sata A Hompe and Vajrasattva Samaya Manupalaya Vajrasattva Dina Patita Dida Meboa Sitokaya Meboa Sipokaya Meboa Anarakta Meboa Sawasidi Mimpiyatsa Sawakama Sitame Sitam Shriyam Kuruhum Ha Ha Ho Bhagavan Sawatata Gata Vajramami Mutsa Vajrabawa Mahasamaya Sata A Hompe and Vajrasattva Samaya Manupalaya Vajrasattva Dina Patita Dita meboa, Sitokaya meboa, Sipokaya meboa, Anorekta meboa, Sawasiti Mimpiatsa Sawakama Sitame, Sitam Shriam Kuruhum, ha 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 ho, Bhagawan, Sawatata Gata Vajramami Mutsa Vajrabawa Mahasamaya Sata A Hum Pe. So then be delighted that all the harm you've ever done to any living being with your body is completely purified, and think there's no way you could do anything but benefit others now with your body. And next is the purification of our speech, and Vajrasattva very happily sends powerful nectar from his heart chakra, and this arcs around and forcefully enters your crown and fills your entire body, except this time forcing up to the top of your body all the negativity of your speech, and this overflows and disappears into space, not one atom left. So just imagine all the gossip and the harsh speech and useless speech, lying, talking about people behind their backs, getting other people to agree with you, all our inappropriate speech, all that's, not knowing the right thing to say, not having the wisdom to know what's the best thing to say in a certain situation. So imagine this is all purified by this powerful nectar filling you and overflowing quite powerfully. Vajrasapta Samaya Manupalaya Vajrasapta Dina Patita Dina Meboa Sutokaya Meboa Sipokaya Meboa Anarakta Meboa Sawasiti Mimpiyatsa Sawakama Sitame Sitam Shriyam Kuruhum Ha 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 Ho Bhagawan Sawatata Gata Vajramami Matsa Vajrabawa Mahasamaya Sata Humpe Vajrasapta Samaya Manupalaya Vajrasapta Dina Patita Dina Meboa Sutokaya Meboa Sipokaya Meboa Anorekta meboa sawasiti mimpiyatsa sawakama sitame sitam shriyam kuruhum ha 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 ho bhagawan sawatata gata vajramami mutsa vajrabawa mahasamaya sata ahompe vajrasapta samaya manupalaya vajrasapta dina patita dita meboa sitokaya meboa sipokaya meboa anorekta meboa sawasiti mimpiyatsa sawakama sitame sitam shriyam kuruhum ha 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 ho bhagawan Sawatata Gata Vajramami Mutsa Vajrabawa Mahasamaya Sata Ahompe Vajrasapa Samaya Manupalaya Vajrasapa Dina Patita Dida Meboa Sitokaya Meboa Sipokaya Meboa Anorakta Meboa Sawasiti Mimpiyatsa Sawakama Sita Me Sitam Shriyam Kuruhum Ha 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 Ho Bhagawan Sawatata Gata Vajramami Mutsa Vajrabawa Mahasamaya Sata Ahompe Vajrasapa Samaya Manupalaya Vajrasapa Dina Patita Dita Meboa Situkaya Meboa Sipokaya Meboa Anorakta Meboa Sawasiti Mimpiyatsa Sawakama Sitame Sitam Shriyam Kuruhum Ha 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 Ho Bhagawan Sawatata Gata Vajramami Mutsa Vajrabawa Mahasamaya Sata Ahompe Vajrasapa Samaya Manupalaya Vajrasapa Dina Patita Dita Meboa Situkaya Meboa Sipokaya Meboa Anorakta meboa sawasiti mimpiyatsa sawakama sitame sitam shriyam kuruhum ha 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 ho bhagawan sawatata gata vajramami mutsa vajrabawa mahasamaya sata ahompe vajrasapa samaya manupalaya vajrasapa dina patita dita meboa situkaya meboa sipokaya meboa anorakta meboa sawasiti mimpiyatsa sawakama sitame sitam shriyam kuruhum ha 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 ho bhagawan Sawatata Gata Vajramami Mutsa Vajrabawa Mahasamaya Sata Hum Pe. So again, Vajrasattva very happily sends, just imagine, just rejoice. All the negativities of your speech are completely purified. Not one atom left. Imagine it's not possible to do anything but benefit others with your speech. So imagine that every time you're writing an email, every time you're making a post on social media, think, is this going to be a benefit to somebody? These kind of things become a guardrail for us. And next is a purification of the mind, and Vajrasattva very compassionately sends powerful beams of light from his heart chakra, and this arcs around and enters your crown and fills your entire being. So it's the same as when you walk into a pitch black room and you flick on the switch. the darkness is instantly dispelled by that light. So imagine just as the light hits your heart chakra, all the darkness of the negativity of your mind, so all your attachment and neediness and anger and bitterness, grudges, depression, anxiety, resentment, jealousy, all of this is instantly dispelled. Not one atom left. Om Vajrasapa Samaya Manupalaya Vajrasapa Dina Patita Dina Meboa Sitokaya Meboa Sipokaya Meboa Anarakta Meboa Savasidi Mimpi Yata Sawa Kamasita Me Sitam Shriyam Kuruhum Ha 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 Ho Bhagavan Sawatata Gata Vajramami Mutta Vajrabawa Mahasamaya Sata Ahom Pe Om Vajrasapa Samaya Manupalaya Vajrasapa Dina Patita Dida Meboa Sitokaya Meboa Sipokaya Meboa Anarakta Meboa Sawasidi Mimpi Yata Sawa Kamasita Me Sitam Shriyam Kuruhum Ha 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 Ho Bhagavan Sawatata Gata Vajramami Mutta Vajrabawa Mahasamaya Sata Ahom Pe Vajrasapa Samaya Manupalaya Vajrasapa Dina Patita Dida Meboa Sitokaya Meboa Sipokaya Meboa Anarakta Meboa Sawasidi Mimpi Yata Sawa Kamasita Me Sitam Shriyam Kuruhum Ha 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 Ho Bhagavan Sawatata Gata Vajramami Mutta Vajrabawa Mahasamaya Sata Ahom Pe Vajrasapa Samaya Manupalaya Vajrasapa Dina Patita Dida Meboa Sitokaya Meboa Sipokaya Meboa Anarakta Meboa Sawasidi Mimpi Yata Sawa Kamasita Me Sitam Shriyam Kuruhum Ha 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 Ho Bhagavan Sawatata Gata Vajramami Mutta Vajrabawa Mahasamaya Sata Ahom Pe Vajrasapa Samaya Manupalaya Vajrasapa Dina Patita Dida Meboa Sitokaya Meboa Sipokaya Meboa Anarakta Meboa Sawasidi Mimpi Yata Sawa Kamasita Me Sitam Shriyam Kuruhum Ha 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 Ho Bhagavan Sawatata Gata Vajramami Mutta Vajrabawa Mahasamaya Sata Ahom Pe Vajrasapa Samaya Manupalaya Vajrasapa Dina Patita Dida Meboa Sitokaya Meboa Sipokaya Meboa Anarakta Meboa Sawasidi Mimpi Yata Sawa Kamasita Me Sitam Shriyam Kuruhum Ha 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 Ho Bhagavan Sawatata Gata Vajramami Mutta Vajrabawa Mahasamaya Sata Ahom Pe Vajrasapa Samaya Manupalaya Vajrasapa Dina Patita Dida Meboa Sitokaya Meboa Sipokaya Meboa Anarakta Meboa Sawasidi Mimpi Yata Sawa Kamasita Me Sitam Shriyam Kuruhum Ha 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 Ho Bhagavan Sawatata Gata Vajramami Mutta Vajrabawa Mahasamaya Sata Ahom Pe. So again, be delighted that all your delusions, which are the source of all of our own suffering, the cause of why we harm others with our body and our speech, imagine they're gone, they're purified. And think there's no space in your heart now for anything other than love and kindness and forgiveness and wisdom and bliss and compassion. So next is the purification of even the imprints of negativity of the body, speech, and mind. And this time imagine that Vajrasattva sends light and nectar, and it fills you completely and eradicates even the subtlest imprints of negative energy. Om Vajrasattva Samaya Manupalaya Vajrasattva Dina Patita Dida Meboa Sitokaya Meboa Sipokaya Meboa Anarakta Meboa Sawasidi Mimpi Yata Sawa Kamasita Me Sitam Shriyam Kuruhum Ha 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 Ho Bhagavan Sawatata Gata Vajramami Mutta Vajrabawa Mahasamaya Sata Ahom Pe Vajrasattva Samaya Manupalaya Vajrasattva Dina Patita Dida Meboa Sitokaya Meboa Sipokaya Meboa Anarakta Meboa Sawasidi Mimpi Yata Sawa Kamasita Me Sitam Shriyam Kuruhum Ha 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 Ho Bhagavan Sawatata Gata Vajramami Mutta Vajrabawa Mahasamaya Sata Ahom Pe Vajrasapa Samaya Manupalaya Vajrasapa Dina Patita Dida Meboa Sitokaya Meboa Sipokaya Meboa Anarakta Meboa Sawasidi Mimpi Yata Sawa Kamasita Me Sitam Shriyam Kuruhum Ha Ha Ho Bhagavan Sawatata Gata Vajramami Mutta Vajrabawa Mahasamaya Sata Ahom Pe Vajrasapa Samaya Manupalaya Vajrasapa Dina Patita Dida Meboa Sitokaya Meboa Sipokaya Meboa Anarakta Meboa Sawasidi Mimpi Yata Sawa Kamasita Me Sitam Shriyam Kuruhum Ha 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 Ho Bhagavan Sawatata Gata Vajramami Mutta Vajrabawa Mahasamaya Sata Ahom Pe Vajrasapa Samaya Manupalaya Vajrasapa Dina Patita Dida me boa, Sitokaya me boa, Sipokaya me boa, Anurakta me boa, Sawasidi me piata sawa kama sita me, Sitam Shriam Karuhum ha ho Bhagawan, Sawatata Gata Vajra me Mutta Vajra Bawa Mahasamaya Sata a Hompe, and Vajrasapa Samaya Manupalaya, Vajrasapa Dina Patita, Dida me boa, Sitokaya me boa, Sipokaya me boa, Anurakta me boa, Sawasidi me piata sawa kama sita me, Sitam Shriam Kuruhum ho Bhagawan Sawatata Gata Vajramami Mutta Vajrabawa Mahasamaya Sattva Hum. Okay. So now feel completely purified. There's not one atom of negativity left in your mind stream. Even the subtlest obscurations to your enlightenment have been removed. And now the power of resolve, and the fourth and final step in the process, and a really important one where we just want to make a decision to refrain from harming. It's just as simple as that. We just have to decide. So think of something that you'd like to work on, that you have been working on. First of all, rejoice in your efforts. Never forget to rejoice in your efforts. And you're just going to keep digging deeper and deeper into your psyche, finding more and more layers. And just rejoice in what you're seeing, what you're finding, what you're purifying. So Vajrasattva is delighted with us and wanting to merge with your mind, melts into light and absorbs into you through your crown. And think, my teacher's body, speech, and mind, Vajrasattva's body, speech, and mind, and my own body, speech, and mind are the same. And next, Rinpoche would recommend a little bit on emptiness. So in emptiness, there is no I, the creator of negative karma. There is no action of creating negative karma, and there is no negative karma created. So at whatever level you understand emptiness, just place your mind there for a moment. You can think of all phenomena as being empty. They do not exist from their own side. You can also think that the way things appear to me may not necessarily be the way they actually exist. So let's just dedicate all the merit, all the positive energy you've created doing this purification to all living beings. And I just saw a message from Lorraine for Abby and Levon. Levon's missing. Abby's the mother. Her daughter died during COVID, and she's raising their children. She's raising her grandchildren. There's so many difficult situations out there. And also, again, strong prayers for the return of Geshe Dado. It's also missing. So may this virtuous karma I've created from doing this practice ripen as my enlightenment for the sake of sentient beings as quickly as possible. Okay, and strong prayers for His Holiness the Dalai Lama to live long, and for the swift return of Lama Zopa Rinpoche, and for any of your own teachers. Just pray for their long life. Okay, everyone. Thank you so very much.